interview. Also, he cleared Sonata. He asked about Agile process and ceremonies and everything. Okay.
Okay.
What is the product backlog? In the previous diagram, we see product backlog, PBI, right? Product backlog item, right? What is meaning of product backlog?
Unfinished work.
Unfinished user stories, uncompleted user stories, right? Which need to be developed, right? Which need to be developed. And who maintains that one? Product owner. Okay. Product owner. Okay. Product backlog is a prioritized list of work for the development team. It is derived from the roadmap and its requirements. The most important items are shown at the top of the product backlog, so the team knows what to deliver first. Understand? So it is sorted out, sorted by the priority. Which one has to go first, right? So highest priority one will come to the current sprint. Understand? Development team will pick up from the product backlog. Right? The product owner, they discussed and which user stories will fit in this particular sprint. Right? Let's say the team capacity is total 90 story points. They will choose 90 story points of work. Understand? Okay. Again, there is a terminology. Previously, we discussed about capacity, right? What is capacity? Tell me. What is team capacity? What is capacity?
What is?
Capacity.
Storage.
Who can do what work?
Yeah, how much?
How much
many
time?
hours they can work? How many hours they
Yeah.
can work? That is individual capacity. Team capacity. What is team capacity?
How many
Number of
members
members
can?
The entire team, how many hours they can work? In the sprint planning, we discussed, right? 290 hours something, right? That is capacity. Then what is velocity? Velocity means how many
Speed.
time period.
of work the team can deliver. How many story points of work the team can deliver based on the previous sprints. Team size is same. Let's say every sprint on average they are delivering like 90 or 100 story points. Obviously the velocity will be, they will take the average. Let's say you are on the fourth sprint. Last 3 sprints, you will check how many story points the team delivered. Divided by 3. Sum of those 3 divided by 3, right? It will come the average, right? Understand? That is velocity. Velocity will be calculated in the form of story points. Capacity is calculated in the form of hours.
Hours.
Right? Capacity and velocity. That is the entry question. Okay. They will ask what is the difference between capacity and velocity. Okay. What is a spike in a Agile? Normally we are creating the user stories, right? Every user story we are giving the estimates. Let's say the requirement is not clear and we don't know how long it will take to complete. Then in that case, we will call that as a spike story. Understand? Okay. Spike stories are for investigation. We need to find out how much time it will take. Right? So spike story in Agile is user story that needs more information. So the team can estimate how long the story will take to complete. Agile teams typically have a set amount of time outlined for spikes, which is why spike stories are often referred to the time vast investigation. So normally the interview point of view, we are covering this. Okay. It's very rare question. They can ask what is spike. Okay. This you don't need to know. What is the meaning of technical debit? See, when it comes to the software development, technical debit is the idea that certain necessary work gets delayed during the development of a software project in order to hit a deliverable deadline. Let's say we committed for something. Okay. We committed for some user story, but the development team is not able to complete within the time. Understand? Okay. So then that will come as a technical debit user story. This type of user story. Okay, spike is one type of user story. Technical debit is another user story. It's kind of backlog. Let's say, or technical debit is coding, is the coding you must do tomorrow because you took a shortcut in order to deliver the software today. Let's say there is something got delayed. You took a shortcut to deliver that user story, but it's not fully implemented as per the coding standard. Understand? That again you need to rework. Understand? That is called technical debit. So what caused the technical debit? This is a technical debit has varying difference, but it is simplest. It relates to the cost of additional work or rework of code and other assets during software development. It's much like credit card debit. If someone makes a big purchase and does not pay it off soon, interest accumulates and can spiral out to control. So basically, it's a rework of the user story, right? Rework of the code, right? Already we discussed, right? Okay. Normally they won't ask these questions, but you need to know like what is product backlog and who maintains product backlog. Okay. Agile testing mindset. Okay. What is Agile testing mindset? If you are working in Agile team, quality assistance versus quality assurance, continuous testing over testing at the end. Testing at the end we do in the traditional model, waterfall model, right? But here you will see continuous testing. Okay. Here, team responsibility for quality over tester response. In waterfall, you are the responsible for the testing. Here, everybody helps you. Team responsibility to maintain the quality. If some user story, if there are bugs, it will affect that particular developer also. Understand? So that's why he will coordinate with you. Always you will be in touch with the developer of that particular user story. Understand? Team responsibility. Whole team approach over testing department and independent testing. So here whole team is responsible for the testing. Okay. Automated checking over manual regression. In waterfall, normally manual regression you do. But here, all the old test cases we will automate to save the time. Otherwise, in 2 weeks, we cannot complete the testing. Right? In 2 weeks, you have to do the front sprint testing plus regression. It's not possible, right? If you're doing manually. So all the manual one should be automated in Agile. If it is waterfall, you will have 2 months time or 3 months time for the testing. But here it's not like, right? So that's the reason we automate the test cases. Understand? Let's say current sprint I am preparing test cases. Okay, current sprint. Yesterday also I prepared test cases for 2 user stories. So what happens if we don't automate within the sprint? When we move to the next sprints, we need to execute this manually. But I have a lot of test cases, right? It will take time. It will take time, right? Understand? Okay. So that's the reason we need to automate. Okay. Technical and API testing over GUI testing. So here, normally waterfall we do only GUI testing. Here we do the API testing also. First we test the middle type, right? When the APIs are ready, directly API from the postman. Then once the UI is developed, then we will test from the UI. Got it? Then exploratory testing over scripted testing. Scripted testing means everything is planned. We have the test cases, everything. Here we do the exploratory testing. Exploratory testing means we are just jumping on the application. We are just going through that without any test cases. We can find some defects also in the exploratory testing, right? That is called exploratory testing. We are just exploring. So any tester can test any application, right? If you have testing knowledge, let's say somebody gave you some application, you don't have any requirement and you don't have any test cases. Just based on your experience, you can test that application, right? You can find the bugs also. Understand? Exploratory testing. That is called exploratory testing. So you don't have any planned test cases or anything for exploratory. Okay. Then user stories and customer needs over requirement specifications. So here in waterfall we will have the BRD, requirement specification, right? BRD document, right? Here everything is, all the requirement is in the form of user stories and customer needs. So here everything is prioritized by the what customer needs. So here everything is driven by the customer feedback. We will get the short time feedback. Short time is every 2 weeks we get the feedback, right? Every 2 weeks we get the feedback from the customer. Once the user stories are moved to testing phase, right? Then building software over breaking the software. Okay, early involvement over late involvement. So the customer is involved in the early phases, right? So every 2 weeks we are developing some user stories, right? He can view, okay, he can view how it is developed and everything. In waterfall he has to wait for 1 year or 2 years, right? But here he don't need to wait. That is early involvement. Okay, short feedback loop over delayed feedback. In waterfall, after 1 year he give the feedback, right? But here every 2 weeks he give the feedback. Short feedback loop. Okay, preventing defects over finding defects. So in waterfall we are trying to find the defects. Here preventing defects. How we are preventing the defects? Here also we will find the defects, right? But when the development is done, we will have the debody call. Debody means definition of done. So the developer will give the demo to the tester, BA, whatever the changes he made for this particular user story, making sure developed as per the requirement. BA also will be part of that call. So here itself, before the user story deployed into the testing phase itself, we are finding the defects. If there are anything, he will fix it. We will reject the debody. Then he will fix the issue, right? So if you look into my current sprint user stories, see, these are the user stories. You see, 260840 ready for debody. So he gave the debody. So he showed what are the changes he made. So let me open this. So he need to attach the debody document also. So if you go here, see, not for this user story, for other user story. For this user story, actually debody not needed. He sent an email 260840, right? You see here, he mentioned, okay, he already tested that. Please find the updated this one for this user story. Please let me know still require debody call. I said no, we don't need debody call. I have verified logs from this one. We don't need debody call for this. Attach the debody document to the user story. Understand? So every user story, we will have the debody. So here itself we are finding the defects. Still that is not deployed into the testing. So we are in the still development phase. Understand? So we are preventing the defects. Preventing the defects. Understand? That is this statement. Understand? These are all the things. Okay, agile testing mindset. Same way, what skills an agile tester should have? Be positive and solution oriented with team members and stakeholders, because you will be communicating with the stakeholders and a lot of communication with the team members. Okay, be positive and solution oriented. Okay, display critical, quality oriented, skeptical thinking about the product. Okay, actively acquire information from the stakeholders rather than depending upon the entirely written requirements. So here requirement is in the form of user stories, right? If you need any information, you actively communicate with the stakeholders and get the information. That's what the meaning of this, okay? Accurately evaluate and report test results. You need to report the test results, right? How many test cases you executed, how many are passed, how many test progress and product quality. Okay, that is one of the expectation. So obviously, when you have test plan, there you can see test results, right? So when you have plans, when you have test plans, now if you go here, level, still we did not started testing for current sprint. But if you go to previous sprint, you can see. See right now, if you go here, we have 94. We did not execute anything. We did not create the chart yet. But if you go to previous one, previous sprint, this one. Okay, here also they did not create. Let me create one, okay? New test result chart, group by outcome. Okay, you see, okay. Now I created one here. You see total how many are there? Total 78 test cases are there, right? Total 78. And out of 78, 31 are passed, 31 are passed, and 47 are not run. These are the test results. How many total? How many passed? How many not executed? Right now there are no failed. If there is any fail, it will show the failed status in the red color. This is the test results. Okay. Work effectively to determine testable user stories, especially acceptance criteria with customer representatives and stakeholders. So every user story will have acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria means what is accepted, the requirement, actual requirement from the end user. So if you have any questions or anything, you work effectively with the stakeholders. Okay, you get the requirement from the BA or you understand any questions. Okay, collaborate with the team, within the team, working in pairs with programmers. So every user story, you have a developer. You need to work with him. You need to collaborate with him for any questions or anything, right? That's what I did. I noted down the developer name. For any user story, if I have any questions or anything, I directly ping him. So I created test cases for all this yesterday. Okay, now only one user story pending. Today I will yesterday he was offline, Dimitro. He is from different country. All others are from India. So today I will communicate with him, understand the requirement and prepare the test cases for this particular user story. Then I am done creating test cases for this current sprint user stories, everything. Understand? So I am marking down. If you go here yesterday, see, if you see my status, every day I write down what I worked. Because in the status call, every day we have morning status call, right? So we have 3 status calls, okay, stand-up calls. So I give the status. See, yesterday, November 4th, I created test cases for 260840. This 260840, I created test cases. Then user story analysis for 261480. I gone through this user story. I completed the analysis. Then I prepared the test cases for that. Now I uploaded also. Now if you go to this user story 260840, first I prepared in the Excel. Not this. Print 61 test cases. Two six zero eight four zero. If you see, first I prepared in the Excel, then I went to test plan and I uploaded. Where are those? Show more. You see this icon? All these are the test cases. You see this? All these are the test cases I prepared yesterday. Understand? So now there is a task here, test case creation. Right? Test case creation, which is in the active state. I did not close that. So I burned 5 hours. Initial estimate I gave 8 hours. Still there are pending test cases. So I entered 5 hours for that. Remaining 3 hours. Understand? So initially, when we are creating the task, we give the estimates. Don't need to be accurate. You can spend more than 8 hours also. You can enter completed hours. No issue. Understand? So yesterday, I spent 5 hours to prepare the test cases. Still, there are some more. I can work today. I can add the test cases and upload here. Got it? Two ways we can create the test cases. One is you can come here, add link, new item, add link, new item, then tested by test case. This is one way. Enter the title. Now you will get action and expected result. You get action expected result. You can type. That is one way. Second way is here you need to go step by step. Second way is you prepare in the Excel. Okay, directly copy all the steps. Okay, then come to the test plan document and grid view, you can paste it. That is second way. Here, these are the two ways you can do. You understand? Respond to change quickly, including changing, adding, or improving test cases. So, if any change in the requirement, you need to respond quickly. You also need to change the test cases. Okay, based on the changes happen in the user story. Then plan and organize their own work. Understand? These are all the expectations of from the Agile tester. Understand? You go through this one more time because it might be interview question. They can ask what are the skills Agile tester should have. Okay? And what is role of a tester in an Agile team? What did we discussed? First, understanding and requirement, right? Then work with the product owners and go through the acceptance criteria and definition of done, DOD call with the developer. Okay, make sure you are covering test cases for entire requirement. Okay, and preparing the test data, writing and executing test cases, automation test cases, reporting defects, and working with the team to resolve them. And you need to coach other team members if somebody joined newly. Okay, so all these things, just you go through this one and participate daily in the proactive in the daily stand-up meetings, story grooming meetings, team retrospectives. Okay, all these things you need to part of all the Agile ceremonies. Understand? So actively collaborating with developers and business stakeholders to clarify the requirements, especially in terms of testability. What is testable? Consistency and completeness. Understand? And ensuring the appropriate testing task. You need to create the test task in the sprint planning meeting. Release and iteration planning. Sprint planning. Iteration means sprint planning. Understand? Clear? These are all the rules of Agile tester. Okay. Any questions, Tanuja? This is all the theory part about Agile. Najay and Tanuja, any questions? Go through
As
this
of now, no.
one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Go through this one. Okay. Burn down chart. This is not for you, for the project managers normally, because for our understanding, I kept it here. Sometimes the manager will show this is the for the project tracking. It's going in the right direction or any risk for the project. So let's say there are total 160 points, story points, right? So we have different sprints, iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3, like sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3. On average, they are taking 10 story points per sprint, right? Let's say first sprint, they took 10 points. They delivered 10 points. So how many will be there? This is product backlog total. This is total product backlog. Okay. So if they completed 10 story points of work, this is total 160 points, let's say. So how many points of work will be there?
150.
150. Again, next sprint, again 10. 140. Like that, as long as the duration is going on, project should come to the completion stage. Somewhere it should reach 0. Right?
Okay.
0.
Yeah.
That means the project is over.
Yes.
If you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sprints. Work done so far, right? How much work done in 8 sprints? 80 story points.
80. Yeah.
If it is exactly 10 story points, right? What is the team capacity? We already discussed. Every sprint, how much work they can deliver in the measurement of story points. That is called team velocity. Velocity is 10 story points, right? Capacity is different. Okay. Story point means in my team right now 8 hours. In my team, wherever I am working, one story point means 8 hours of work. Understand? Every project is different. Okay. So that is capacity. So what is the team capacity here they are doing? If it is 8 means 80 hours of work. Right? 10 into 8, right? Understand? So work
Yeah.
in that iteration, right? Work done only this much, 10 story points, right? Work remaining. This is remaining, right? This much remaining. Understand? You understand the down chart now? So this line
Yes.
come like this. If it is coming like this, then project is in the risk. The work has to be done slowly. It has to gradually. It has to decrease, right? Pending work. Understand? Pending work. If the pending work is still there, this much, time is gone, duration is, you want the duration, then project is at risk, right? You understand
Yeah.
the burn down chart? Okay, this is the normally project manager tracking view, okay, for tracking purpose. And what is test life cycle? This is another interview question they will ask. We know what is SDLC, right? So, Najib, can you tell me what is SDLC, software development life cycle?
Like first is architecture, like design. After that, DA, how much money it will take, and develop and test.
Okay. So, Tanuja, can you explain what is SDLC? What are different phases?
Um, planning,
Hmm.
requirement,
Requirement analysis and planning. That is one phase.
build. Before build, we'll design, right? Yeah.
Design.
Build. Mm,
So I ask you to
gathering the
remember
gathering the
the same order.
information.
Requirement analysis, right? And planning. Then design. After design development, then testing, then support and maintenance.
Yes.
Understand? Remember in the same order,
Okay.
right? Then what is test life cycle? STLC. Let's say we are following Agile Scrum model. We got 5 user stories in this sprint. So what you will do? First you will understand or analyze the user stories, right? That is called story analysis task, right? User story, you are creating task, right? User story analysis, right? You'll enter the hours for that, right? To understand the requirement. Then to understand what you will do, you will create test cases. Then you will prepare test data. Then you will execute test cases. When you will execute the test cases and where you will execute the test cases, tell me. In which environment you will execute the test cases?
Like Jira or Azure DevOps.
No. In which environment means we have different environments. Development environment, testing environment, right? Integration testing, system testing. So in which environment you will execute the test cases?
Test environment.
Development and test environment, right?
Yeah.
Environment means the user stories has to be deployed,
Okay.
right? Deployed in the testing. Okay. Then log the defects. Okay, you will find defects, right? Got it? You will find the defects, then you will log the defects. Where you will log the defects? Where you will log the defects? Azure DevOps. Depends upon the tool using. Right? If you're using Jira, you will log in Jira. If you're using Azure DevOps, you will log in Azure DevOps, right? Then after logging the defects, what you will do? Developer will fix it, right? Then you need to retest the defects. Is what you will close the defects. Otherwise, you will reopen, right? Then you will submit the test result reports. Test result reports. Right. Okay. You need to remember in the same order. First, you understand the requirement, then create the test cases, create the test data, execute the test cases, find the defects, report the defects, retest the defects, and close the defects and submit the test reports. Test result reports. Clear?
Yeah.
It's the test life cycle. STLC. STLC. Understand? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So manual testing, okay, maybe we can cover in the next session. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.